Hey guys, it's me Simo Orahara, and in this video, we will discuss why Ichigo cannot use the final Getsuga Tenshou again in the Quincy arc against Yurabach. When I mention final Getsuga Tenshou, I mean the Dangai form that Ichigo used to attempt to defeat Aizen. And the reason why we discuss this question, guys, is that some people consider this form to be the strongest. However, I believe that regardless of whether that form is the strongest or not, I would like to start by exploring the context of that form from several perspectives. And the first aspect is that Ichigo, at that point in the story, had a completely incorrect perception of his powers. He believed that the Osan was his Shinigami power, and that the Hollow was an external force, whereas the Hollows was actually fused with his Shinigami powers and formed his true Zanpakuto. The Osan's power, on the other hand, was his Quincy power. The second aspect is that the Osan was suppressing Ichigo's power and controlling most of it. However, in dangerous situations, the Hollow, which is Ichigo's Shinigami power, would emerge to save Ichigo, as happened in Ichigo's fight against Elikura. And I still insist that the Osan in dangerous situations would release a certain amount of that suppressed power when Ichigo was in danger, regardless of the power that the Osan couldn't contain, the power that Ichigo was fighting with in the regular battles as a Shinigami. However, guys, and to move beyond my own opinion, I will present to you the facts as they are. In the Dangai, exactly in Ichigo's inner world, the Osan or the Quincy power brought out Ichigo's Shinigami power, fused with the Hollow. And by the way, Kubo said that this form is the correct state for the complete transformation of the Hollow, meaning that if Ichigo had managed to transform into a Hollow correctly, using the full power of the Hollow, the mask would look like this. And so, as we have seen, the fake Tensei Zangetsu fused with the Hollow, forming White Tensei Zangetsu, which is similar to Ichigo in the Horn of Salvation. The same applies to his Bankai when he released it against Yurabach. And in that fight, or in that training with Tensei Zangetsu, and Ichigo said at that moment that if White Tensei Zangetsu wanted to defeat him, he could do so, because their powers weren't equal. White Tensei Zangetsu then stopped Ichigo, saying that the only way to achieve final Getsuga Tenshou was to accept his blade, and that Tensei Zangetsu is in fact Ichigo, and so Ichigo wouldn't feel any pain from that stab, as it represents the blade itself. And afterward, White Tensei Zangetsu would tell Ichigo that it would transfer the meanings and all the secrets of this technique to him. And once the technique is executed, all of Ichigo's Shinigami power will disappear. And here, guys, we reach the third aspect related to the secrets of the final Getsuga Tenshou. Secrets that we still do not know much about. I mean, for example, is it a technique specific to the Chiba family? Given that Isshin is the one who informed Ichigo about it, and that the Shiba ancestor previously was trying to find a technique to free Ryu from the seal and take his place. Thus, the origin of the technique might be traced back to the Shiba ancestor, or is it a technique related to the Quincy, and specifically the technique used by Yuryu in his fight against Mayuri? It was the last holy form of the Quincy that wasn't like the full standing. So that form and the final Getsuga Tenshou have the cost of losing the user's power. Ichigo lost his power, and Yuryu also lost his power. So some try to link this to the idea that it might be a Quincy technique, especially since the one who was trying to teach in this technique to Ichigo was the fake Tensei Zangetsu, who is actually a Quincy power. But regardless of the mystery surrounding this technique, it is certain that using it comes at high cost, which is the loss of the Shinigami power. We saw how Ichigo suffered greatly without his powers, and the pain he suffered to become a Shinigami again. Therefore, while the final Getsuga Tenshou gave Ichigo great power to the point that even Aizen couldn't no longer sense Ichigo's spiritual power, in the end, it has a dangerous flaw: the cost of losing Shinigami powers. As we have seen in the fight between Aizen and Ichigo, Ichigo in that form had a technique with single attack, Mugits, an attack that had to be sufficient to eliminate the enemy's strength completely, otherwise the result would be catastrophic. as Ichigo wouldn't have another chance to use the technique again. So for all of these guys, if we look at the context of the Quincy arc or Thousand Year Blood War arc and consider the aspects mentioned earlier about the final Getsuga Tenshou, we'll find that Ichigo didn't need to use that technique again for several reasons. First of all, he became aware of his powers, his roots, and therefore the Osan no longer suppressed his powers and gave him the true Zangetsu. And as we have seen Ichigo in the Horn of Salvation or even in the Bankai, his form or his appearance was like White Tetsu Zangetsu, the true manifestation of Ichigo's true power. Moreover guys, one of the wonderful things about what happened in the Dangai and what occurred when the Osan revealed his truth to Ichigo is that if you notice, in the Dangai White Tetsu Zangetsu said that the secret of learning the final Getsuga Tenshou was to accept the blade of White Tetsu Zangetsu, which is actually his Quincy in Shinigami power. And as White Tetsu Zangetsu said, Tensa Zangetsu is Ichigo. And as we saw, White Tetsu Zangetsu was crying as he was saying goodbye to Ichigo. So we experienced almost the same details in chapter 541 and 542, titled The Blade is Me, where Ichigo, when he understood his powers, accepted them, accepted the Osan as he was, and didn't care about his true identity. He also accepted the Hollow, no longer concerned with stopping it. This acceptance allowed Ichigo to better comprehend his full powers. And also we saw the Osan crying as he was giving Ichigo his true Zanpakuto. So all these similarities make me think that Ichigo, while I wouldn't say he reached the Dangai and the final Getsuga Tenshou level completely, has gained enough power to face the enemy without losing his Shinigami powers. I still believe that the condition of losing power is what boosted Ichigo's power in the Dangai and made it special. So in the Quincy arc, Ichigo was able to reach a significant power similar to what we had in the Dangai. For all of these reasons guys, Ichigo no longer needed a technique that would cost him his Shinigami powers and wasn't guaranteed to kill the enemy. Evidence of this is what happened with Aizen Sasuke. Moreover, Ichigo's problem with Yhwach was never about strength, because with Aizen Sasuke's help, Ichigo killed Yhwach with Getsuga Tenshou. The issue was with the almighty ability, which brought Yhwach back to life. So in that detail guys about losing power, we can see that the Horn of Salvation in True Shikai or Bankai is superior than the Dangai because of the case of losing power. Because if Ichigo had used the final Getsuga Tenshou in the attack and killed Yhwach, he would have lost his powers and Yhwach would have revived himself using the Almighty. And as you know, this would be the end for Ichigo. But that was the opposite to what happened. Even though Yhwach revived using the Almighty, Ichigo had a chance to attack again after Yuryu's intervention. So it can be said that Ichigo would have used that power if he didn't come with the condition of losing Shinigami powers. I would have liked to see if Yhwach would have been in the same state as Aizen, if he too wouldn't have been able to sense Ichigo's Ryatsu, and if Ichigo's attack would have been stronger, or if the Dangai power is the same as the True Shikai or Bankai. I really hope that Kobo could answer this question directly so that we can resolve this matter definitely about who is stronger, the Dangai or the True Shikai or Horn of Salvation. So guys, what do you think about this possibility, or this if Ichigo could use the Dangai or the technique of final Getsuga Tenshou in the Quincy arc? What would happen? Tell me guys in the comments and see you guys in my next video.